Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back to the Talk Podcast. Now, before this clip starts, remember or in the previous episode, I said I will be adding different opinions. I'm not sure, to be honest. Um, I'm not sure if I'm going to manage to, show as many because it's going to make the whole thing very, very lengthy. But anywho, this is Dr. Umar Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. Very well known around social media. He is a pro black, pro African, pro all that good stuff. At the same time, with what I know, with all the good that I know about him from hearing, not that I know this person, the same way you also hear some weird, funny, fishy things or things that some people would be like, kind of hypocritical. But that's not what we're here for, right? We are here to listen to his take on the Shannon Sharp situation, to listen to his opinion, to understand where this is possibly going in terms of the lawsuit, and what else we can learn. There will be different parts to the story in the sense of he's not only talking about Shannon Sharp, but there will be more truth to this. Does that make sense? I'm hoping. So, at first, in the previous episode, I said we will be watching this together. It is so long, really. It's 45 minutes. I've already watched about 16 minutes, but anywho, we will watch it together.
19-year-old white girl. It's interesting, Art, because last week I was at FBMG Academy doing some walkthroughs with some potential floor contractors because we still
Started completely.
How do you feel about Shannon Sharp, him getting sued for $50 million by a white girl?
Just a quick recap. Shannon Sharp, well known ex NFL player, now podcast host, does multiple other things, and he's the one who is being sued for allegedly assaulting, sexually abusing, all that bad stuff to this young woman whose name is Gabriella Zuniga or something. Jane Doe.
19-year-old white girl. It's interesting, Art, because last week I was at FBMG Academy doing some walkthroughs with some potential floor contractors because we still have to get the floors covered up, the concrete where we remove the rugs that has to be covered up with tile. And so I'm in Wilmington, Delaware, outside of the school, and all of a sudden my phone started going off. It started going off. I don't know if this was Monday or Tuesday because Tony Busby, the attorney representing the alleged victim, Gabriella Zuniga, or should we call her Gabriella? I love to sue ninjas. But that case was entered into court Sunday, a week from yesterday. And so I think I was at the school on Monday. It must have been Monday or Tuesday. And so my phone is going off, and I'm getting all these texts. Shannon Sharp has been Snow Bunny. Shannon Sharp has been Snow Bunny. Dr. Umar, Shannon is being accused of the unthinkable. And it bothered me because, as you know, me and Shannon Sharp have had some back and forth over the internet, never directly, but obviously me speaking to him and him speaking to me about, his position that he don't date black women and that he prefers Caucasians. And of course, being who I am, respecting all women, no matter what the color, but I believe black men need to be with black women. And given the fact that Sean Puffy Combs finds himself in a situation he's in, and R. Kelly finds himself in a situation he's in, and Bill Cosby finds himself in a situation he's in, and of course, Sean Carter freeing himself from false allegations that Tony Busby had lodged against him, you would think that in the aftermath of all of these sex assault cases that's going on, that Shannon Sharp or any black male celebrity for that matter would
So before he continues on, that was something that I was thinking to myself as a general thought, okay? Now, these cases are definitely disgusting and, tremendous and just bad, right? We've had multiple other cases that had to do with some kind of celebrity figure, NBA player, these well to do people, well known people, um, who always tend to find themselves in situations like these, or always are kind of conflicted, involved in some kind of sexual relationship that has to do with some kind of payment, and in some way it's going to turn bad. And with all these things happening outright in public, you hear it, you see it, some of them know each other, right? I believe all these celebrity people, they kind of know each other, or they can easily get to know each other. You would think that, okay, I'm going to be more aware. I'm not going to move this way. I'm not going to, right? Does that make sense? To me, it does.
So I'm not here to beat a man when he's down, obviously, because as I've made it clear on social media, okay, to the disappointment of many, I stand with Shannon Sharp. And I stand with Shannon Sharp on art for one reason and one reason only. And that is because what he did in having a relationship with a 19-year-old Snow Bunny is not illegal. And so dealing with the American court system, morals has no place in it. Morals have no place in American law. If it did, we would have never been enslaved. So in a court of law, it's about whether you broke the law. It's not about whether what you did was right or wrong. And so I'm standing with Shannon Sharp because I don't want to see his life destroyed like Puff, like Kelly, like they tried to do to Carter, like they've done to Cosby. I don't want to see this happen to another man. And because she was not legally a child, although too young for nearly all of us to feel comfortable with a man of his age dating her, it was not against the law for him to be with this 19-year-old.
That part. So he's just one example right now. But even though he is one example, he is speaking for, more men, a larger amount of men that I'm claiming he knows that would not agree to this kind of setting, right? And as I said before, I think that was in the first episode of me trying to understand what is going on. I was saying to the audience that when you hear the word relationship between a man and a woman, that can mean so much nowadays. If someone tells me, oh, I'm in a relationship with X, I'm thinking, you guys like each other, you guys care for each other, you respect each other, maybe even love each other, you're intimate with one another. You're like, you're spending quality time, you're invested in one another, you take care of each other, all these good things. But nowadays, the word relationship is whatever that setting is. Two people coming together, that's already a relationship. You have friendships, that's a relationship. And what kind of relationship are you guys? Oh, we're in a friendship. So be careful with that. As I said, this is not the normal, most common, traditional way that most people would understand the word relationship. This, to me, as far as I understood, was a transactional relationship. There was a deal made. I'm seeing you because of X, or I want to be with you because of X. The other thing, I'm struggling with speaking today. The other thing is the legal part. And that's where all these kinds of things get really, really tricky. Really tricky. I used to say, we all know that phrase, age is just a number. Yeah, but I'm trying to start adding until it's not. For some people, they can be 18, 19, 20, 21, and their mind's completely different. They understand the consequences, they understand the responsibility, they understand what they're doing. And some others, there might be the same age and they just don't get it. But legally speaking, So talking about legal part, it can be very tricky because even though you want to say, "Oh, I'm trying to take the morals out," I'm trying to it's very difficult to try to take the morals out because even though we're talking about legal stance, morals are always going to play a part. The public is going to judge by morals. And the whole interaction is, to be honest, based on morals because were what intentions did they both had on what moral grounds were they both standing when they initially chose to go into this relationship. So I get it. People want to take the morals out, but it's difficult. And talking about age and age gap and age differences in relationships and what people choose to do and not do, I truly believe that these are things we need to be talking about more often, more direct, and more in the perspective of what can go on when you choose either certain relationship, either certain lifestyle, either certain, put yourself in certain environments. What can actually be? What is the difference between, oh, I'm dating someone, but you're getting paid for it, and I'm actually in a real committed relationship? People like to use these words that have positive connotations to it, but doing negative things. And then the outcome can be bad.
Approximately 2 years into another man. And because she was not legally a child, although too young for nearly all of us to feel comfortable with a man of his age dating her, it was not against the law for him to be with this 19-year-old. So what do we know about this situation? According to Gabriella Zuniga, she met Shannon Sharp at a gym in Los Angeles approximately 2 years ago, 2023. Now, Shannon alleges that he tried to present her with an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, which every celebrity should require from anyone they engage with. Well, guess what, Art? She decides she's not going to sign the NDA. That right there was a warning to Shannon Sharp that this 19-year-old, who you shouldn't be dating anyway because of her age, because of her race, you need to end this. If she don't want to sign an
Let's go back a bit. Something's coming to mind.
celebrity should require from anyone they engage with. Well, guess what, Art? She decides.
Can we talk about NDAs real quick? Just so two things can be true at the same time, right? I think I do understand the perspective of people who are like in the public, celebrities, they have a lot to lose, perhaps money to lose, their reputation to lose, their images, and then they're interacting with different kinds of people, they're bringing them into their private life, whatever. They're joining them into some kind of business deals. They're joining, to some degree, I can understand why you want to protect yourself because that person, you might not know that person for too long. You don't know what the intentions are. You might be bringing that person into your home, and then the request of that NDA is like, you're not allowed to expose my home. Don't take pictures of my home. If you do that, you have an issue. I'm going to sue you, right? Maybe because they just don't want their private life exposed. It's already enough to be seen all over the place. And then there's another thing that comes to mind. Let's take this relationship setting. And then someone tells you, I want to spend time with you. We're going to have fun, this and that. I want you to sign an NDA. Is it just me, or are there other people out there who are thinking to themselves, why? What are we doing? What are we up to? What is it that we're possibly going to be doing that I'm going to put myself in a position to be like, oh, I need to talk about this, but now I can't talk about this? Does that make sense? So that already, to me, is kind of like on both sides. The woman who's in the position of getting to know the celebrity, and he's asking her, sign this NDA, and she might be thinking, why? What are you up to? What do you want to keep secretly? What are you going to do that I'm later on not allowed to talk about? Could be a reason for her not want to sign it. But if that's your thought process, then I would recommend don't even interact with that person. Does that make sense? The same way, if that's the celebrity, the man who's well to do, and he's meeting this woman that he's maybe not really sure of what her intentions are, and he's like, please sign this NDA. And she's like, no. If that is your standard, if that is the way you want to be protecting yourself, then maybe you shouldn't be with her because already you both are not agreeing on the same grounds. You're not standing on the same ground.
He's not going to sign the NDA. That right there was a warning to Shannon Sharpe that this 19-year-old, who you shouldn't be dating anyway because of her age, because of her race, you need to end this. If she don't want to sign an NDA dating a celebrity, you know what that means. That means if this doesn't go her way, she's going to expose you. Shannon Sharpe should have ended it right there. The problem was,
I'm gonna lean out a lot and try to put my opinion to this comment that he said he shouldn't be dating her because of her age, because of her race. A lot of people are gonna be so sensitive to this. And this is not about saying, ooh, you want to be pushing race ideology, you want to be dividing. No, this is a comment. It's one comment, but it says so much. And I think maybe people who are in Europe might be like a bit difficult to put their minds into this. I guess America, they would definitely understand where this is coming from, why he said that. Not only because he stands for black or he is pro black and all that good stuff. No, because there is so much historical day to day, there's truth to this. There is an unfortunate misuse. It's been happening since history, right? Where unfortunately white women would use that against black men because they knew they are always going to get the upper hand. The system is going to believe, the people are going to believe. I'm just summarizing what has been happening. And I don't think we should be pretending that all these things don't happen. The same way, black or white or whoever, we've seen it over time. People just make up stuff against each other, right? And then if you want to go back to, their experience perhaps, we might not like it, I might not like it, but if that is a true experience, what are you going to say? For the age thing, though, I've already said that a lot of people agree that that is a bit iffy. You're not taking this young woman to a level of, oh, I want to respect you as my wife, and we're building a family, and it's public, and you're a part of this. And no, no 19-year-old should even find herself in that position. And there's another thing, if you guys really listen into, how he says certain things. Maybe I'm just stretching, but I think Dr. Umer is also going the direction of saying, yeah, she's 19. To me, she's a child, even though she's legal by age. I wouldn't do it. But there's also something about this 19-year-old that's kind of slick. I talked about this in my previous episode. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there aren't women, young, old boys, young, old men, whatever. There are people who are going to try to take advantage. There are people who are going to lie, but if we want to go down on this topic, yes, it can happen. That's why it's a very sensitive thing. I'm really trying to understand what is going to come out with this case. But the question still is, how does a 19-year-old even find herself in this? Sure, there's a long list on explanations or reasons or how, but I think to myself, and this is going off topic, I think to myself that we have created this environment where it is okay for 18, 19-year-olds, sometimes even younger, to feel comfortable for them to want to tap into this world, places that they don't belong in. Does that make sense? We already know that it's unfortunate that there are adults who are trying to drag them into this. That's bad. But we have also created an environment in the society where things like this have become kind of normalized, people are desensitized to, you know, like just think about what you see when you're on Instagram. Not even that kind of a page, not even marketed as that, but just think of what you see when you scroll on social media.
She fit his type. Obviously, Uncle Shay Shay, he likes Caucasian women, as we all know, and he likes them very skinny, which I didn't know. And the reason I'm saying that is the pictures that are floating around the internet on Gabrielle Asu Ninjas is pictures of a very petite Caucasian woman who, not being disrespectful when I say this, appears to be built like a 13, 14, 15-year-old child. She doesn't appear to be developed like a woman. She doesn't appear to be a woman who's in childbearing age. There's no curves on that body. There's no lumps on that body. And according to her, allegedly, Shannon Sharp told her that if she would lose enough weight for him, he would buy her some artificial breasts. Now, that's very puzzling to me, Art, because she's already extra skinny, extra petite, no booty, no breasts, no nothing. Why would you want her to lose any more weight? So from that, we can gather that Shannon Sharp's type is an extra pale, extra skinny Caucasian. He definitely don't like a 5'5" thick in the thighs like Dr. Umar. He don't want butter almond. He don't want butter pecan. He don't want fudge, cinnamon, mahogany. He don't even want African vanilla, African butterscotch, African lemonade. He wants some pale and skinny. I want them brown chocolate and curvy. So anyway,
Yeah, anyway, like that part of the commentary went kind of like, I don't know, I didn't really get it. To some degree it made sense because it, described the age thing, and that it just appears to be kind of suspicious. I get it. He says he stands with him because he didn't do anything wrong, but we're going to figure that out because no one knows what happened, right? I don't think the case is about him dating her being 19. I guess the case is about what happened in that relationship. There was some kind of assault going on. But anywho, the rest of the commenting and the comparing to what he actually professes, I think that was a bit unnecessary. But um before I missed this point, I missed it.
they engage in this BDSM relationship. It appears that both of them allegedly are sadomasochistic. They are into BDSM behavior, bondage, domination, submission, and humiliation. That's what BDSM means. Now, some people are asking the question, Art, why didn't Shannon find someone a little older? Why didn't Shannon, with his money and his fame, find an older white woman or older black woman, even if you went with your 30s, even if you went with your 20s?
Yeah, I was asking myself the same question in the sense of, um, even though he preferred someone who's younger and legal by age, right? We might not like it, take the moral stand out of it, and you have a certain idea of fantasy you want to live out. I was asking myself, why not just go for someone who really does that as their thing, right? Someone who, is that a profession? It is a profession. You know what I mean? Like, why just not go for someone who is willing to sign that NDA? Perhaps they're even going to give you a contract to sign as well because they have the experience. That's what they do.
Why didn't Shannon, with his money and fame, get a woman who was a little bit more mature? I'm going to tell you why I think he didn't get a woman who was a little bit more mature, Art. Number one, he's not interested in women who are a little bit more mature. But also, Art, you and I know that if you get you a sophisticated black woman, and I'm assuming it's the same for the Snow Bunny Mafia, but if you get you a sophisticated black woman,
I'm sorry. I get that was somehow funny. It's so stupid. Like, I don't know who came up with that, but for people who don't get it, I guess I'm not guessing. I'm sure the Snow Bunny is referring to white women, but the Snow Bunny Mafia, that is wild. That is This man is hilarious. Talking about white or black, I think, let's be very honest, okay? People should date and love whoever they want, right? If your partner is purple, please go for it.
She ain't going to be doing all that freaked out stuff early on in the relationship. You're going to have to earn that if you get it at all. If you understand what I'm saying. Ain't no black woman I know, not no black woman of respect, whether she's a celebrity or a regular working class sister with a 9 to 5 trying to make ends meet. She is not going to be engaging in BDSM behavior unless you put a ring on it. You either
Let's pause right there, okay? I'm just gonna pretend that I have the knowledge to this. My feeling is just telling me that yes, I can agree to it. Like, and take the color away. He said sophisticated and woman with respect, and also mature. Those three things, right? That can be black, white, Asian, Arabic. I don't know, whatever you are, whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever skin tone you have. If you have these traits, you're mature, and to maturity means understanding yourself, understanding life, having boundaries, knowing how you want to be treated, all that good stuff. You're sophisticated. That is not only based on school and university degrees, but you have a certain standard of your life. You have something going for yourself, and you are someone who cares about their reputation. I think that fits into sophistication as well, because otherwise you would just be doing whatever. Anyone could be talking stupid about you. And then respect, a woman who has respect, a woman who has respect for herself, and respect for the person that she's with, wouldn't want to do things like that. Not to say that, oh my God, sophisticated, respectful women who are married don't have interesting, private lives. No one is saying that. No one is saying that they're prude, boring, or whatever. Or no one is saying that there are no BDSM couples who live a good life. But within that, there is a safety. There's a trust that comes with being in a committed relationship, having commitment. Right? It's different to say, I'm just gonna start doing the craziest things with someone I barely know, someone who doesn't even trust me enough and wants me to sign an NDA. I don't know what they're going to do with me. It's different if you say, okay, we both want to do this and we are here for each other. Does that make sense? I'm just hoping it makes sense.
you're going to put a ring on it or you're going to pay her up front. And it appears that in Shannon's
The paying part, I'm out, because I don't think, if I look at the part with the respect, I don't think that a woman who respects herself would get paid for intimacy in any way, shape. The most extreme, the lowest extreme, the soft one, the I don't know. I don't get it. I think that part doesn't really connect with me. But that could be just adding to his.
relationship with Gabriella, he wasn't taking care of her financially, Art. It does not appear that he was taking care of the Snow Bunny financially. Because if he was, why are there texts of her asking him for $10,000? If you are a multi-millionaire celebrity, king of the black podcast amongst the celebrities, you on, News One, excuse me, you're on First Take with Stephen A. Smith, you on ESPN, Fox used to be on Fox Sports, whatever the case may be, you got money. Why is your side piece, your jump off, why are you not taking care of her? He broke the first rule.
Now, I do not know too much about all of this. As I said, I'm just assuming my opinion to this, right? But remember how, um, what was her name? Brutally Honest kind of understood the whole thing already to her perspective, saying that when this young woman the first time showed up at Shannon Sharp's door. She claimed he didn't speak to her, no communication. He was just about to do what he was wanting to do, right? And she explained that, of course, that's the treatment because, yeah, that's the agreement you guys had. You were booked as a hooker for that time. And there is no need for like special treatment, extra treatment, treating you like an actual girlfriend, woman, wife, whatever you want to put it, because I see you when I see you, and then towards their agreement. If this was a relationship, like there's some people they have a relationship and they're being taken care of, and there's nothing bad about that. But you see, it comes from a different moral stand. It comes from a different intention. It comes from that person really just cares for you. That person really just want to, be there for you. That person, and like you get what I'm saying. It's not the same thing to say I'm literally objectifying myself and now I'm expecting girlfriend treatment. No, that person is going to choose how they want to treat you.
Of being a player as a celebrity. You keep them happy so they don't destroy you. You keep them happy so they don't expose you. And he was not taken care of financially. That was a big mistake.
Let's talk about that real quick. If that was the rule on how these people play, they get the women or whatever kind of woman, and you need to keep them happy, meaning you just please her, you spoil her with money, gifts, experience, all that good stuff. Isn't that a way to actually destroy yourself? Right? Because they tend to do that with multiples, and then look at those ones, they have babies all over the place and keep them happy, keep them happy. Well, you have just attracted your own misery. Oh, keep paying so they don't expose you. I guess if that's the deal, if that's the rule, then they must be having such a great time, these men. It's unfortunate. That's really something I do not get.
But she was okay with that art. Why? Because it appears that Gabriella allegedly was looking forward to having Shannon Sharp's baby. She kept talking about getting pregnant. And then Uncle Shay Shay made another mistake because he says to her in the text message, if I still F with you around my birthday, if I still F with you around my birthday, you can remove the IUD. So Art, he's having unprotected sex with a 19-year-old OnlyFans model. Illegal? No. Stupid? Yes. But here's